Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
I'll tell you, I'm at probably one of my favorite buildings in Annapolis, and it's really sort of nondescript on Margaret Avenue, but it's bookended by two of my favorite businesses. We've got Fast Signs on one side. You've got Local by Design at the Gallery on the other. And we're here with Steve Anderson, who's the owner of Third Eye Comics, games, toys, music, and probably everything else that I don't know about.
If it's nerdy, we sell it.
I tell you, well, you know what? We last talked back in March of 2019.
Yeah, and
it's been a hot minute, huh?
It has. Yeah, it's been a crazy few years.
Well, I mean, how did you fare during COVID? I mean, that's the sort of the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was scary. I've never done anything else. I literally, got my Maryland State, worked construction, and then I ended up working at a comic shop when I was 18, and I did that for about 3, 4, 5 years. Worked a couple jobs, didn't like, and then ended up basically opening Third Eye when I was 26. So I've never done anything else. So when COVID happened, I had no idea people would tell me to shut my business down or anything like that. And I just was freaked out. So after being freaked out, quite a deal of freaked out.
Shot of tequila, some deep breaths.
Yeah, actually there was that. I told myself that if we get through it, I'm just going to charge ahead and basically just do all the stuff that I kind of waited on doing before COVID, like opening new locations and expanding departments and trying new things, because I might not get a chance to do it again. So it was kind of good for me in a way where it put a real fire under me.
Do you know Parry at Lucky Bird by chance?
Yeah. Great people.
Same story.
Yeah.
Worked schlepping in a tattoo place.
Yeah.
And said, I can do this better.
Right. Yeah.
And here we are. He's like 15
That's a great
or 20.
shop.
He's like 15 or 20 years or something here. And it was like great guy. I had a fun time talking with him. But you say that you've been busy, and I mean, when we last talked, I think you had Annapolis, Lexington Park,
and then Mechanicsville.
And I think you had just opened up down in Richmond.
Yeah, exactly.
Or were getting ready. And now it's Waldorf.
Yep.
And College Park.
Yep.
And a town that I love the name, Short Pump, Virginia.
Yeah. That's the other side of Richmond. That's so you got Mechanicsville and Short Pump, and they're both on either side. Yeah.
So you've got now six
locations.
Physical locations.
Yeah, and then we have a couple weird sideline things that we've opened up. We opened up Third Eye Buys in November of 2021. That's what's downstairs. And that's a storefront that we opened up because of the supplier challenges we were having. So it's just a storefront where we buy stuff, and we were having trouble sourcing some of our more popular categories, manga being the most predominant one that we were having a hard time getting in, but other things too, toys, etc. And we were like, well, let's try and take it into our own hands. So we started buying stuff from our customers, and then cleaning it up and redistributing it and things like that.
So if somebody just outgrows it, or just is done with it, or doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, you have all kinds of collectors. You have people who will keep it forever, or maybe they'll collect it obsessively, and then they'll want to basically move on to doing something else. So then they move on. They want to sell that to kind of add to their other collection.
How valuable are old comics and stuff like that? Are they? I mean, is that I wouldn't put my 401k into
No. I mean, it really depends. I mean, some of them get pretty valuable. It's a very volatile market. It's very, very fickle. So you could have a movie coming out, and 6 months before the movie comes out, take Moon Knight, for example. Moon Knight's a great example. So Moon Knight had the TV show. Before Moon Knight came out, and maybe the first couple weeks it was out, those back issues of Moon Knight were really, really popular. And the value was popular because of that.
Right.
Then the show came out, and, it didn't quite catch fire the way some of the other ones did. And it was a good show, don't get me wrong. But because of that, it basically the prices came down, and there's a curve that kind of happens. Now there's the opposite that happens too, where somebody will be take the Guardians for the Galaxy, for example. When that came out, nobody saw that coming, and nobody really knew what that was going to be.
And it just took off.
Yeah, so that first appearance of Groot just blew up.
I guess I'm going to stick with my Beanie Baby investments. I guess that's,
Yeah.
that was God. I thought I was going to make millions of that. When my kids outgrew them, I mean, we had probably 800 of them.
Oh my gosh!
And
Yeah.
I put them up on eBay, and I said, whatever it was, I think
Right.
$1,000 for it, and it was like nothing. And I was like, oh my God! And finally, somebody bid like $200 for it, and it was some guy that was running some sort of a program in Pennsylvania for kids in foster homes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he said, this is going to be great because it's going to make so many kids happy. And then it just got my heart. And I said, screw it. Give me your address and I'm going to send this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Screws.
That's great.
Screw eBay, and
Yeah.
they're 5% or whatever they make. I said, give me your address. I'm going to send this stuff to you and we're going to have a great time.
That's awesome.
But are you expanding more? I mean, you said you were expanding out of COVID, and obviously you did.
Yeah. So we, I think honestly, the next couple of years are going to be focused on just kind of like shoring up our infrastructure. There's a lot that we've had to kind of catch up to, after everything, after all the expansion, so like, it's a lot of making systems better. It's a lot of kind of trying to make sure and that's kind of like, even before COVID, that was kind of our cycle where we would basically do a bunch of cool stuff and then we would try to like focus on making it better. And that's kind of where I'm at now is like, I feel like I'm at a point where I want to take a couple years, no new locations, and just,
Polish the ones that you got.
Exactly. We have a couple surprises that I can't talk about yet that are closer to home. That'll be cool coming soon. But like
you finally got that Hooters franchise?
Not yet. But yeah, just kind of just focusing on what we got here and the stores that we have and just doing our best to make them better. We just added retirement plans for our full-time employees. And
how many employees do you have now?
I think we're up to 60.
And that's
all throughout the company. So that's Maryland, Virginia.
So that's essentially 7 places between Third Eye Buys and your 6 locations.
Yeah, we have a few people in administrative. We have like a digital media department that helps us with like our social media and stuff now. So we have that. We have we have processors for like processing when we buy secondary merchandise, and then we have our e-commerce, which is that was something that grew a lot during COVID.
Expected.
And it's a constant just wrangling of that, like kind of like figuring out how to really make it work for us and make it, it's hard,
Yeah. Is your e-commerce is equivalent to your retail? And
I would say e-commerce for us is probably number 3. Like Annapolis is number 1, Lexington Park is number 2, and then e-commerce is number 3. And a lot of that growth has come in the last year. We've done a lot of changes to our website. We brought a lot of our inventory online. It's just things like that, so it's good. I mean, Shopify is crazy. Like, it's very powerful. And when we made the switch to Shopify, that just accelerated what was already growing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, for those that aren't aware, I mean, what all do you sell? I mean, I'm looking at a big sign here. We got comics, games, toys, and music.
Yeah.
And I know the last time we talked, I mean, you had just added like LPs. And turntables, and you had some merch as far as graphic tees and stuff like that. But I mean, what all encompasses Third Eye now?
Yeah, I mean, we love everything pop culture. So if it has like a fandom to it, honestly, most of the stuff starts with kind of like stuff that like we as a team at Third Eye like are passionate about, and like we'll try it on a very small kind of scale and be like, well, if we like this and we see our customers wearing Led Zeppelin shirts or whatever, they might like it, you know what I mean? And we'll carry a couple LPs, and then it just kind of grows from there. But we carry everything. We carry comics, tabletop games, movies, Blu-rays and DVDs, music, t-shirts, apparel, manga, statues, model kits, puzzles, young readers books.
Yeah, I mean, we got games and everything else that I know I picked
skateboards, like everything. Yeah.
I remember way back when a friend of mine had written and I had never heard the term before, and I totally got it wrong, but she actually, her husband died in 9/11 in the World Trade Centers, and she says, I've written a graphic novel about the thing. And I'm like going, my mind is going to like, what is a graphic novel? I'm flashing back to college reading the Penthouse forums or whatever it is.
Right.
And I'm going, well, that's kind of interesting.
Right.
And she's like, well, do you want a copy of it? And I'm like, cautiously saying, sure. And then I realized that it was, my mind went someplace else. And it was just a graphic novel. So, I mean, and that's again, a huge genre of books that has never come in that you guys do also sell as well.
Yeah, graphic novels are huge for us. And we love just how predominant they've gotten. It's cool to see, like, we work a lot with libraries, and that's the big thing with libraries is they love graphic novels.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, just sort of a question. I was speaking with Scout and Molly's up at the town center a little bit, and they were saying that, their inventory is changing, and obviously you don't change over, but their inventory sort of fluctuates every week.
Right.
And it says you can come in today and see something, and it's not there next week, and it's not. I mean, how frequently should somebody that's, that's the geek or the nerd, come in here?
I mean, every day.
Every single day we open it. We open at 9 and then leave
every day except for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
But I mean, as far as you've got some standards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what is the cycle on?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird for us because one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is selection. So for us, we are only out when we can no longer get that product anymore. And that's the thing is sometimes stuff cycles out and it's, the popularity wanes and we might discontinue it. But what we carry is so multifaceted, you know what I mean? That it's frustrating for us when we don't have something that someone's looking for. And I would say we're adding new stuff every week. If you want to come in and see something new and exciting, there's always new stuff coming in. Literally every day, my receiving warehouse is just unpacking stuff because we deal with so many different vendors.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't really have a set pattern for we're going to get this stuff out and put this stuff in. We just move into bigger stores.
Right. Well, I mean, do you switch stores for managing your inventory? I mean, I guess does the demand vary from store to store?
It does, absolutely. So Annapolis is it's a freak of nature. Yeah, it really is.
Tell me something I don't know, right?
This store is. It probably has a lot to do with the fact that it's the first store. So we're here and we're rooted in it and we're living it. And I mean, I can hit all my stuff, every single day. And I can see when something's not performing. So Annapolis is always the big beast. You know what I mean? It's a tourist attraction. People come from, York, they come from, Virginia, they come from Delaware, and they see us once or twice a month because they know we're just this thing for nerdy stuff. So Annapolis, it's an outlier. I couldn't really compare that to the other stores. Our other superstore is Lexington Park. That store is much more similar to Annapolis than our standard stores. It has all the crazy stuff Annapolis does, but it's still newer in that realm. The standard store, I would say you could look at something like our Waldorf store, and that kind of really represents what we were maybe 10 years ago, which is comics, toys, a little bit of games, a little bit of t-shirts, but it's mostly comics and toys.
Okay.
So we don't really have the room to have as deep of an inventory. And it is frustrating because, every store is special and the staff is what makes the store special. So we value every single store, but it is frustrating for us because we want to be able to put a big one like Annapolis everywhere. You know what I mean? But it costs a lot of money to run a big monster like that. It costs a lot of staff, and it just costs a lot of experienced people to upkeep it.
Well, it does. I mean, you are a high-touch retail type of an environment.
Yes.
I mean, and I will say that I am not your typical customer here, but I do shop here.
Thank you.
For gifts and everything else. But when I do come in for a gift, your sales staff is on it. Who are you buying for? How old are they? What else are they into?
Yeah.
What else? And I can't tell you how many that I bought. And usually that birthday or that Christmas gift or whatever it is,
right,
hits the mark.
Yeah.
And it's, you walk in and, I remember, one year I just ended up buying a gift card, which is always a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But, it was real quick in and out, need a gift card. It was a graduation thing or something, something like that. And they're like, cool, sweet, here's some coupons, here's some, stickers, and off we went. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's, your employees are stellar.
That's our goal, and I appreciate that. I mean, that's what brought us to the dance. We started out in a store that was 800 square feet, and the two Annapolis stores now are 14,000 square feet combined.
Well, okay, your 800 square feet, was the one on Route 2?
Old Solomon's. So if you're coming on Old Solomon's right after where Sunny Surplus used to be. It's paint store now. And there's a little building. Reliable Taxi used to be in there. And that was where we started, 15 Old Solomon's Island Road.
Okay.
And then we moved after about a year down to where the coin store is, where the coin store has been for a long time. Great people there. And that's at 45 Old Solomon's Island Road.
I bought a quarter for $45 there once.
Yeah. That's where we moved to. And we were there for about 2 or 3 years. And then we outgrew that and we moved to West Street on on the corner of Route 2 and
that's
West.
still vacant store on the on the end, and then you're now here on Chinkapin Round Road.
And now we're on Chinkapin,
in two locations. Well, two retail locations.
Yeah.
You've got Third Eye Comics.
Yep.
Is one, and then games.
Yep.
What's the difference between the two?
So it's interesting. So Third Eye Comics it's mostly comics and toys and graphic novels. We sell shirts, we sell candy, we sell all the other stuff. The game store also sells shirts and candy and all that. But instead of comics and toys, it's predominantly tabletop board games, role playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, puzzles, all that kind of stuff. And then music, we sell that because Third Eye Games is like a hobby store as well, and basically we have records and T-shirts and movies and model kits, and I mean we're always just trying to add more cool stuff. I mean this is fun, it's fun to do it,
Well, it's kind of neat because I mean you guys are sitting there, you're playing with the stuff and you find the stuff that resonates with you.
Yeah.
Uber nerds. That, and say, hey, this is going to go. I mean, it must be a real fun job to work.
I love it. Like I still do a good deal of our purchasing, but I had to offload some of that to some other staff, but one of the things that I hang on to just because it's so much fun for me is doing the record orders because I love to see what people are buying that I added, or, I'm like, oh my God, here's this obscure punk band I loved when I was a kid, and I see somebody buying a bunch of it, and it's cool,
You've got two stores here. You've got comics and games here.
Yeah.
Are there any of the other locations divided into that?
No, that's just an Annapolis thing. The Lexington Park Superstore is all of those things, but combined into one space.
Okay.
And that's about 8,000 square feet, that store is.
Is that fairly newly expanded?
It is, yeah. So when COVID happened, one of our staff from up here, Liz, she moved down to St. Mary's. She was living closer to there.
Stay home or something?
And yeah, she took that store on and basically she made it her own, and it went from 1,000 square feet into basically a monster. Within a year, that store expanded.
That was the last time I was there. Probably when it was 1,000 square feet.
Small.
It was a narrow little sort of straight back in the shopping center, tucked in behind.
We moved two stores over to where the old Cato was, the Cato Fashion, and I mean, and that was again, that's the testament to staff is basically just the growth that we saw coming out of COVID, and she was new to that area, she was new to that store, and she just got to know her customers and gave that Third Eye experience, and then before you know it, that's another superstore.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about your events, though. You do also have events. I mean, you've got releases of comic books. I know that when Rodney Barnes was in town.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, the mayor's milking him for all.
He's great, yeah.
Give the guy a key to the city and call him back time and time again. But, I mean, you are known for your events. And, I mean, the different comic book days and the different releases and everything else. I mean, are they coming back now?
Yeah, I mean, we started, I'd say probably over the summer, we started doing those more frequently, which is good. You know what I mean? Like, we were able to start kind of bringing them back. But yeah, I mean, like, people are loving them, I mean, like, we're excited. We did our tent sale for the first time since 2019 this summer. We didn't do it in 2020, and we didn't do it in 2021 just because, it's in a tent. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people in a tent. But in 2022, we did it for the first time, and it was crazy. I mean, it was everything you want a crazy giant 100-foot tent to bring, and it was fun. But yeah, I mean, like, our signings are going great. We got a bunch of cool signings that we'll be doing later this, we got a few coming up immediately. Some comic book writers are coming out, and then we have a bunch in the new year. And yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's exciting.
Game night's coming back?
So we're working on a secret project. I don't have an ETA on when.
This is two secrets, by the way. I'm keeping track that you've told me that we can't figure.
But I got a thing that we're working on that should be pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I get asked that a lot. It says, do they still have their game nights?
Yeah.
Or are they bringing the game nights back? And
it was hard because we had to get rid of that space during COVID, and we had I'd say probably about 3,000 to 3,000 square feet that we just couldn't use anymore and couldn't make any money for the store with. So we had to do something with it, and that was what we did with the records and the movies and all that. And it was kind of like once we got out of COVID, then we had these new categories that were blossoming, and we were like, well, we can't get rid of them. You know what I mean?
and pull the rug out.
And so we're working on something cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
When are we going to know about it?
I'd say maybe like the end of 2023.
Okay, so
maybe
it's a big thing. It's not
maybe
not like
sooner.
new computers or something.
No, it's going to be way cooler. It's going to be way cooler. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it's almost hard to fathom, but we are a few weeks away from Christmas and Hanukkah and all of that kind of stuff. What do you see is that what's hot?
Oh yeah, okay. Manga continues to be super popular for us. Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Chainsaw Man, and we are stocked up on all that good stuff. We've got the statues, we've got the toys, we've got the T-shirts. I would say we are seeing a lot of sales on records. Dungeons and Dragons had a renaissance because of Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that really.
The house in Stranger Things actually is for sale.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's like 1.5 or 1.8 million. Wow. It's really very cool. I follow this Twitter account called Zillow Gone Wild. It's sort of like Girls Gone Wild for houses. And they featured it 2 days ago. It was an amazing looking house.
Cool.
And but it is for sale.
That's cool.
So if you're, if things go really well for here and you've got your 2023 project.
Yeah, exactly. The big thing for comics is going to be Batman Spawn. It's a crossover that nobody thought would ever happen again, and that's going to be really popular. There's a bunch of stuff this year, but I would say we don't have like a killer item. Like a lot of stores have like that one killer item, like a PS5 or an Xbox One or whatever. Like we just have lots of cool, like smaller items,
Well, it's nice that when you come in here, I mean, if you want to get and I don't want to put prices or anything, but a $5 stocking supper.
Yeah, we got them.
You can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a pack of stickers or something like that, or a little toy or a little collectible. But if you want to get, something several $100s or more,
we got that too.
We've got that too. You literally have something for every budget, as well as
that's our goal.
Most ages.
That's a big thing for us. We do a lot of books too. A lot of people don't know that about us, and that's something that's expanding more and more. Is we do in turn, we don't have a really clever way of calling them. We don't have a clever way of branding it yet, but I'll get there. But we call them books that are too cool for bookstores. So it's like books on music and books on art and like stuff that I've got the Encyclopedia of Russian Jail Tattoos. We have like 3 volumes of that, and people love it. They buy a bunch of them, and it's like in that movie Eastern Promises where they have all the tattoos, and we've got a whole occult book section.
So this is the place to go for the stuff that you might go into some back corner of Kramer Books in D.C.
Bingo, exactly.
But you can come here to Chinkapin Round Road.
Yep, exactly.
In Annapolis.
Yeah. That's something we started carrying over the last couple of years, and now it's a whole aisle. It's crazy.
That's true. Well, I'll tell you what. You talked about how you've expanded and your fan base and everything else, and you haven't mentioned it, but I will. Travel and Leisure, not too shabby of a publication.
Oh, yeah.
Recently put it out here, the top 25 comic book stores in the country. And it starts off with Time Warp Comics and Cards in Boulder, Colorado at number 25.
Uh-huh.
And then if we go through all these pages, we get down here to look at this. Number 5 is Drawn to Comics in Glendale, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
4 is Comic Factory in Pasadena, not Maryland, California. Hypno Comics in Ventura, California. Spiro's Heroes, cool name, in Canoga Park, California. But number 1 in David Letterman style is Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland. Travel and Leisure, man.
Yeah,
that's some serious shit.
Yeah, somebody sent that to you. I didn't know they were even doing it. Like I had no idea it was happening, and somebody sent it to me, and I was like, "What?" I was waiting for a bill.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's amazing, and it really speaks to what you've grown. Now, when did you start this?
Third Eye, we started in 2008, April of 2008. So right when the economy was like, everybody was telling me that was a terrible idea to open a business, but I didn't really have any other options.
23, you got a big anniversary coming up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. It's part of the secret surprises. Don't. We have something really cool we're going to be announcing on Free Comic Book Day, which is our anniversary. It's the first Saturday in May, and our 15th anniversary was something really cool we're announcing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, best way to keep in touch with you is obviously to come to Chinkapin Round Road. You got 2 stores. You got plenty of free parking right out front. If not, there's plenty of parking in the surrounding streets, and makes it real easy and convenient to do that, just off of West Street between West and 665.
Yep.
Margaret Avenue, I guess, is the closest intersection there. And I didn't realize, actually, when I was turning in here, I didn't realize that your building the larger building has the big mural on the side of it.
Yeah.
That Cindy Fletcher Holden painted a long
beautiful.
time ago. ThirdEyeComics.com is the website, and probably the best way to keep in touch is to sign up for the newsletter for you, right?
Yeah, if you go to our website, thirdeyecomics.com, you'll get hit with a pop-up, and we'll give you some coupons if you sign up for our email newsletter. And I mean, like we send stuff out, and we send out a lot of emails, so I'm warning you now. But
well, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense when you've got something that's changing. Well,
we have so much stuff.
I've always been a fan of you can send me as many emails as you like, just have something to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as as long as people care. And that's the thing is, like, whenever I don't send out too many emails, I have people ask me, they're like, why do you send out an email about that? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to send out 3.
I need to do this. Well, it's awesome to hear businesses that came out of COVID and survived.
Yeah, we're really thankful for that.
Obviously. And we're able to figure a way to thrive.
Yeah.
And certainly I know there was, some, there are different grants and all the programs that went around.
It's our customers. Our customers got us through it.
Well, I remember talking to you during COVID, and you were like, the customers were like,
they got us through it.
What is this bullshit? And you were delivering.
Yeah, our customer. We were doing delivery. When we were allowed to, we were doing curbside pickup. Our customers are the best in the world. Like, and I know everybody says that, but like our people are very diehard, and like it's crazy. Like it was crazy. We had to learn a whole new set of skills. Like we had to learn how to be like a call center in a way, because we would basically get a bunch of calls and emails overnight, have to build out a schedule deliveries. We'd never done any of that before, but it's all because our customers were awesome,
Well, I mean, when you have a customer that supports a business that supports the community and supports the customer back, it makes it real easy. And obviously it makes it a lot of fun for you.
Yeah.
Do you ever have days when you come in and just want to kick the cat?
No, never. I mean, it's funny, but I mean, like the only time I ever want to kick the cat is when I'm like, and this just means like, Steve, you should probably, exercise more, eat better. That's always my goal, is try. It's just when I'm tired, but I don't get tired too often. I drink a lot of coffee, but yeah, I mean, sometimes, you have a lot to do, and I just wish I had more time in the day, but I love it.
Where do you spend most of your time? Here.
Yeah, here. I'm usually in one of the departments. I actually just gave my office. I always give my offices away.
Okay.
Whenever
I'm looking for one.
You really
got a spare?
I might. I mean, like I really. Whenever I have an office, I just never seem to be in it, and it ends up just storing stuff. I'm usually just carrying this around, and I'm either where my team is, or I'm downstairs in one of our warehouses. Like if I need quiet time to get a bunch of stuff done without any interruption, I'll usually find a warehouse and just disappear there.
Some back corner and just let it go.
Surrounded by comics.
How often do you go out to your other stores?
Not as often as I'd like. I have really good managers.
That's what I was getting at. I mean, I got the gist that you don't go there that often, which
I don't.
Which tells me you got the right people and the good people in there.
I'm lucky. I mean, like a lot of my people are with me for a long time. So and then they build their people, so my Waldorf store, that's being run by people who worked under Liz at St. Mary's, and then they just moved up 45 minutes up the road to run Waldorf, and now Liz oversees them. And my College Park store is run by one of my long-term guys from up here, and he was actually running my Waldorf store, and then he moved over to College Park, and it just keeps going from there. You know,
that's awesome. I mean, I used to own several travel agencies, and I had a general manager that was right on the same wavelength as myself.
Yeah.
And I could go away for a month.
Yeah.
And I know that Tina would make 98% of the exact same decisions that I would have made.
Yeah,
that's not to say they were the right decisions, but,
right.
but I mean, it was, I knew that, as a business owner, it's got to be very comforting to you to know that you could drop dead tomorrow. You could get on a plane and say, okay, I'm going to Tahiti for 6 months, and know that Third Eye is solid.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been the goal. Our business is very personality driven. And one thing that I learned really early on is like to not make, when you're in the store all the time, like I was, like you become the personality and you become the person that everyone comes to see. And I really, when I started hiring and bring people in, I was very aware that wasn't, I mean, it's great. I appreciate it, but it wasn't what was going to be good because I need them to want to see everybody. And
really?
that's,
So this is so it tends to be a little bit like hairdressers.
I think so. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like or tattoo artists.
Like you sit down. No, I don't want. I mean, tattoo artists. I can
personal,
see because they've got a look and everything else. But I mean, wow, I never realized that.
Yeah, it's very personal, and the goal is to have lots of great people, lots of great personalities, so that way, if life does get busy or if you get sick or something like that, it's not all just completely relying on you. And that's why we really do try to work hard to make our place fun to work at. And we work hard. It's a very hard job, and that's kind of the trade-off of doing something really cool. Is it's hard.
Retail just in general sucks. Mm-hmm. But when you can find a way to make it fun,
and that's it.
It changes it all up.
I tell everybody when they join us, I say we're not a traditional retail establishment, and we will give people room to grow. If people are great and they have skill and they're promising, we're going to push them to the moon. And I've got people who started with me working cashier, and then now they're in salaried positions, running digital media, handling distribution stuff that we do. I have people who just hard work and good attitudes really goes far, Well,
you really are of multifaceted organization, though. I mean, you've got the retail, you've got the mail order, you've got, you can say digital, you've got marketing, you've got everything else that jumps out there. And you've got plenty of opportunity to put people in different places to go with their skills. Well, I'll tell you, thirdeyecomics.com is where you want to go. Nothing funky about the spelling there. Sign up to get the incessant emails from Steve and his crew, because they always do have something informative to say, and you'll always be up on what's happening as far as events go.
Yep.
You might even get an early thing on the big secret in 2023. I don't know.
I think so.
He might do that. But thank you so much again. It's great to see the expansion. Congratulations on surviving it and coming out and thriving again as you were. And, keep on keeping on, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Rock and roll.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.